You have a pounding headache, all of you.
Ugh.
The taste of sand and gravel in your mouth, booming sounds in the background, water lapping somewhere. Are my feet wet? What's going on? Carefully, you open your eyes. Lights coming from everywhere, reddish, hazy. The smell of burning surrounds you. Screams, roars, deep rumbling that you can feel on the ground beneath you. You barely remember who you are, let alone how you ended up here. You get up, sit up, not quite ready to stand up. You turn around and look, you're at a bank of a river. It's reddish black, water lapping at your feet. Indeed, your feet are wet. JD, you feel this poking on your back, and you take 2 points of damage.
Okay.
And you hear this sound, the sound, like it sounds like an evil Ewok, right? And it just stabbing you with something. You guys hear that? Turn around. Your vision is just hazy. Just, you know those TV shows where the camera angles are just kind of going like this all the time, and it's all wow, all fuzzy and stuff like that. That's kind of what it feels like. And like it's bright. It's reddish orange. There's clouds and smoke and just the light doesn't seem to come from anywhere and everywhere at the same time. And what you see before you, poking you again, you take 2 points of damage. It's just a short little gnome wearing kind of like a red helmet. Like you barely have time to catch one, but are those steel-tipped boots? You know, and it's just and it's just poking you, and yeah, roll initiative.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, knocks the little bugger's like legs clean off, and he just kind of falls to the ground. The second hit chops an arm off, and the third hit, as he turns around looking at you, all of a sudden looking a little bit sad and pathetic, going, ah! Digs itself right into his skull. And at that moment, you have a moment to look around you. You're surrounded by piles of bones, of just like some of them are mounds that are 20, 30, 40 feet high, all around you. And behind you across the shore of this river, there are other piles and whatnot. Everything surrounding you. More of those sounds, and you hear these footsteps, and from around one of those mounds, an Asimar turns the corner, and he just slides in the gravel. And he goes like, "Oh, good, you made it! Come, follow me! Hurry!"
My cleric ass runs after that Asimar.
And in the background, you hear this more rumbling sound, this cackling laughter, almost tribal, right? Like, la, 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 you know, that kind of, sound, and then this rumbling sound. The ground is shaking, and something that you don't know what it's rapidly approaching, and it's loud, and it's big, and it's just scary. So yeah, and oh, by the way, surrounding you, as I mentioned, there's piles of bones. There's crushed bones everywhere. There are these like just puddles of black liquid ooze. There's just that smell of burning and just nasty stuff. And the guy just like he slid in. He sees you guys pointed at you, and he turned around and started running back the way he came, off to your right. You know.
Okay. I'm assuming my axe is still sort of in the gnomish.
It's embedded in his helmet. Like if you pull it out, you pull the helmet along with it. You know. So.
Yeah, so I just kind of take. I'm assuming I just kind of put my foot against his chest.
Yeah, I'm sorry, real quick, and he says, "Get his pouch!" And he runs.
Are we?
Okay.
I take the pouch and I go after the weird man.
All right. So then, do you get the indeed this little mother lover had a like a little leather pouch, you know? Yeah.
Is there any gold in it?
It's heavy and you don't really have time. Okay. All right, Sorrel. The vehicle hits like one of these big puddles of black gunk, and it gets picked up by one of the tires, and it gets flung straight onto your person, and immediately you feel yourself wasting away. You have lost half of your weight, and you are now almost skeletal in frame. Your muscle, you're still strong, but you're no longer the Sorrel you remember. So none of your stats change, but except your weight, you're now half as heavy as you were. Okay. So strength to weight ratio still is good, you know, has gone up if you want to think of it that way. But yes, you are thin and skeletal. Your cheeks all of a sudden sink in. You look at your hands and they're just bone and sinew.
So I look undead.
You sort of kind of look like you could be undead, you know, but you're not. Well, at least you don't think you are. Maybe a cleric might be able to help you if you didn't smack him in the back of the head.
but now Bones and I match.
Ooh, very nice. All right. So there we go.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is what happens there.
Can I fit anything?
No, we are going to now move to Ivar. So I need my notes. Here we go.
This is my first time using Zoom. I have no idea what I'm doing.
It's my first time too.
How confused are we on a scale of 1 to 10?
I've used some other places like this, so this
is nothing. You're used to battle. You're using, as far as you're concerned, yeah, you know, it's like same shit, different place. You know.
I'm so jealous of Val snacks right now.
Yes. Oh, look at
They are
her.
delicious.
Ooh, holy cheesy. Okay, so
not Atticus this time, JD.
So the Asimar calls out, Barknock, we got company, and the Dragonborn looks back and is like, how many? I think it's 1, maybe 2. Do you guys know? And he just calls out in general. It is Ivar's turn, and we're still in combat, so
I'll climb up, I guess, and open.
You're all inside this cabin. Like if I were to use nautical terminology, you're in a cabin of sorts.
Yeah, but wasn't there came through a hatch, didn't we?
You came through a hatch, exactly. You came through a hatch. The hatch is now closed behind you, or above you, right? So you kind of climbed in from the top. Yeah. And there's there's crap around like bags of supplies and chairs that are bolted to the metal framework of this thing. There is to the back of this cabin. There's kind of like what looks like a giant stove, a metal stove, and you can see glowing fire behind there, and yeah, and then the thing is rumbling,
Okay. So can I try and go back through the hatch, because I'm very uncomfortable in this place.
Yes, you can go through the back of the hatch, or back up the hatch. You have absolutely all the movement.
I'm assuming I see Sorrel.
You open the hatch, you look out, you're at the top of this thing, and you're looking down, and on the right side of this machine,
Mm-hmm.
there's Val, but she looks in rough shape, right? Just and then
immediately,
what was that?
I immediately look at her and say, "It is a zombie."
No, it's just me.
What?
All right, so what are you going to do? You've got some additional movement. Just to share what you see around you, there seems to be so Val is seated on the right side of this contraption, and on the left-hand side, and it's like between the two big tires, but up above. And by the way, this thing, as I said, it's larger than a bus, right? Like, it's taller than a bus, right?
Yeah.
And on the left-hand side, there is some kind of other kind of similar looking weapon station, and that one has some kind of a turret, and these hoses or something connected to it, and there's a chair, and there's straps and things like that. There are rungs that you can use to climb down onto that station. And around you, you also see there are other places where they're not weapon stations, but somebody could easily hang on or even stand or sit on. So there's this thing seems purpose built for war.
Okay. Do I have any idea how to operate any of this?
So let's do an intelligence check. If you've got any particular, applicable skills.
So I was an outlander, so I lived in the Arctic.
Mm-hmm.
I know how my way around a great axe. I believe all literature is witchcraft. And
there's no instructions, thank goodness.
And I have 6 intelligence, so we'll see.
Right. Yep. Give me that intelligence check. Love it.
Actually, it's a natural 19, so it's a 17.
All right. So this thing seems to have a pointy end and some kind of a handle end, and there's some kind of like a button you can press. So when you press it, you hear this, and this bluish green flame shoots out of it and just screeches and screams as it just shoots off in the direction that this thing was pointing, and it stops. All right.
This could be fun.
This will be very fun. And so you have that turret basically gives you an arc, right?
Yeah.
So you can shoot straight forward and straight back, okay? Yeah. Just can't shoot anything that's directly behind you. In other words, to the right of this.
In other words, you can't shoot me.
Huh?
In other words, he cannot shoot me.
I mean, I could.
No, and he can't even. You can barely hear him through that rumbling. And you, Val, the thing that you've got there, it looks like a harpoon, but it has a device or something, some kind of a handle that seems to cock a spring, but there's nothing that looks like.
No ammunition.
No ammunition, and there's nothing that looks like it accepts ammunition. There's just this thing and some kind of, and what's obviously a release. You know.
I am going to experiment.
All right, you pull on that, and it locks in place. You know, it's a metal lever, and it's got like a handle that you squeeze to release it, and
Kind of like a crossbow, sorta.
almost, except that it's planted on the
Right.
on the thing, and the pointy end of this harpoon thing. You aim it, and do you want to aim it at anything in particular?
I want to aim it back towards the things that were chasing us.
All right, great idea. So you aim it towards that, and there's a separate lever that clearly releases. And so when you release it, this crackling of bluish white electricity just like arcs straight towards the thing. Roll a d20, please.
16.
16. This crackling of electricity hits the machine behind you, and you see the electricity just kind of wrap itself around the vehicle, and you see one of the Kenku, the Kenku that's there, and you recognize Kenku as kind of like these kind of crow-like, bird humanoid things, just kind of and its feathers just immediately like ruffle up, and you see like smoke rising from him, and it looks angry, and the vehicle's now even closer to you. Okay, and you see that the Kenku is, and the Kenku and this other lizard-looking thing on the other side of the vehicle, they're on similar stations as you. So yeah, and that is that. It is now Ethan's turn.
I mean, what is there available right now?
Okay, so inside this war machine, there are just all these contraptions and gadgets, but they seem to be focused on the pilot. They're all the Dragonborn guy seems to know what he's doing, and he just kind of reaches out, pulls on a rope, and you hear this. And when he does that, the flames and that stove looking thing, they glow brighter, and the vehicle picks up speed as it jumps and weaves and bobs around the terrain. Your best bet, if you want to do something, would be to exit.
The vehicle?
There are windows. There are slits, like arrow slits almost. So there are those if you want to use those. There's two. There are some that you can see towards the front, to the right, to the left, and even two portholes or something like that to either side of this stove-looking thing that look towards the rear.
And the Kenku are directly behind us, right?
They're now, let's say, about 20-ish feet behind you guys. That this vehicle is catching up.
I mean, so I have a crossbow, but I feel like that's not going to do any damage to their vehicle. As
a reminder, the passengers on this thing, they're all exposed. They're on. They do have partial cover, just as an FYI, and also those of you that are behind a weapon station also have partial cover, so your armor class goes up by 2 now. And the outside of the vehicle does have a couple other areas with partial cover.
And I'm actively trying to hide. I'm hiding.
You're hiding.
Remember, roguey, I'm hiding. I'm hiding behind my weapon.
You still just get partial cover. Sorry.
All right. Well,
you're thinner now.
Right. So I get more cover.
Yes. Nice try.
Then I guess I'm gonna try and use my crossbow.
Yeah.
To fire back at them.
Yeah.
So
as I said, there's a pilot. And the pilot is some kind of a winged, horned creature. And on the left-hand side is some other kind of like a not winged, but kind of horned lizardy looking creature. And on the right-hand side is now the slightly smoldering Kenku.
Okay, well, I'm going to go for the driver, the winged horned creature. And that is an 11 plus 2, so a 13.
13. Okay, so the 13 unfortunately misses. Your shot is true, but unfortunately, it because of the motion of the vehicles, it hits one of the metal plates. And give me damage though, just in case.
Okay, so that's 1d8 minus 1. So that is 6 minus 1, that's 5.
Okay, unfortunately, that doesn't do anything to the vehicle, but you're fine. Everything's fine otherwise. And it was generally a decent shot. It's just, maybe try again later. Kron, you're also inside this thing. The hatch is now open because Nick didn't close it behind him, and the Asimar is now looking through the back of the rear porthole, and he's just shouting out at the Dragonborn, just saying, they're gaining on us. But go ahead. What do you do? Ron, Frank.
Oh, me?
You're Kron. Don't forget your character's name.
No, sorry. I'm almost finished with my character.
You're distracted. I know.
Yeah, okay.
Oh goodness.
Okay, so there are crossbow weapon stations where we are in the vehicle, right?
They're both now occupied. There are two.
Okay.
They're both occupied.
Okay, hold on. Let me just double check my spells real quick. See what I got. I don't think many of these. I guess, is there a way I can just, even though I'm not like at one of these stations, can I still attack with if I throw something?
So as I had mentioned to the rest of the gang, if you step outside, if you climb out the porthole, the hatch, there are, even though there are only 2 weapon stations, there are multiple places where, think of them as little platforms or ledges where you can kind of, you can climb on. Some of them you kind of hang on with your arm. Others have almost straps on with carabiners that you can kind of clip onto some kind of belt. And in fact, inside this thing, you see some harnesses with a bunch of rings attached to them that perhaps could be used for this kind of purpose.
Okay. So yeah, I guess I'm going to do that. I'm going to walk outside and, attach myself to one of these.
All right, you quickly don one of the easier looking harnesses. Is just really a belt, that has a couple rings attached to it. That doesn't take too much time. You climb up, just tell me which direction do you want to face? You want to face forward into the uncertain beyond? You want to face to the left or to the right of the vehicle or towards the rear?
Towards the rear. I'll help with attacking.
Okay, towards the rear of the vehicle. All right, great. So you're facing towards the rear. You're standing.
Can I cast Cure Wounds on the Aasimar?
What?
Sorry, can I cast Cure Wounds on the Aasimar?
You're inside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. You can absolutely do that.
All right, so I'm gonna spend a first level spell slot, 1d8 plus Wiz. That is 7 plus Wisdom modifier is 3, so plus 10 to the Aasimar.
Okay, excellent. All right. All right, good. So, that gash in his head immediately disappears, and he gets up, and just as Sorrel is kind of poking her head in, and he was gonna grab at the rungs that would help him climb up, and he sees your bony ass face, looking back at him, goes like, "What the fuck?" And he just kind of falls back. It's like, ah!
Did you want the bag?
He goes, "We've got swords."
Did you want the bag?
Yes, Sorrel.
You drop. You goes like, "Give me the coin! Give me the coin!"
Oh, you mean this coin?
The moment you grab inside the bag, 2 things strike you. Number 1,
I shouldn't have done that.
this is a really heavy ass freaking coin. And you look at the coin, and what you see reflected, like what you see there is just a face screaming in agony. And as you're holding that coin, you hear screaming in your head and in agony, and that face is like almost like a, like Van Gogh's The Scream, but except all nasty and whatever. It's almost like a coin, exactly. It's almost like Han Solo encased in carbonite, except in a coin, and the coin is like this big, right, and this thick, and it's got like some kind of weird script all around it, and you immediately let go of the coin. The Asimar grabs it, and he tosses it to the Dragonborn. The Dragonborn catches it, inserts it into a slot in his console, and all of a sudden the machine comes back to life. The stove starts glowing, but not red. It glows blue with the infusion of all this energy. And the thing just roars to life, and you're and boom, the thing just starts like flying, right? Its wheels grabbing onto the earth, spilling all this earth and debris towards the back, hitting the Kenku, hitting the wing thing, and hitting the other blizzardy looking thing in their faces. The chain breaks, and your vehicle just jolts forward, and leaving the war machine behind you in the distance. We're now out of combat.
Yay!
Yay!
All right.
Oh,
How we doing, guys?
Ooh, hooray! We did it!
And Luis, you're having way too much fun with this shit.
I'm having a lot of fun. So I couldn't resist.
no such thing as too much fun.
You are enjoying this way
As-
too much.
As the vehicle just, bounces and basically through this ocean of dunes and, jagged earth and whatever, you hear the both the Asimar and the Dragonborn just laughing their asses off and going like, "Woo! Welcome